Good morning, all of you. Today we will discuss the coronary artery disease, which is the cause of millions of deaths throughout the world every year. So, this is the what is coronary artery disease? It's a type of blood vessel disorder included under the category of atherosclerosis within the coronary arteries. Acute coronary syndrome is a spectrum of clinical syndromes representing degree of coronary artery occlusion, including the unstable angina. There is almost पूरा occlusion हो गया और नियर पूरा हो गया, उसके डिग्री इज वेरी हाई, डिग्री ऑफ ओक्लूजन, दैट इज एक्यूट कोरोनरी सिंड्रोम. सडनली कोई क्लॉट, एडिशनल क्लॉट आ गया, एडिशनल क्लॉट लॉज हो गया या तो बन गया, इंक्लूडिंग अनस्टेबल एजाइना, नॉन एसटी सेगमेंट एलिवेशन एमआई, एसटी सेगमेंट एलिवेशन एमआई और सडन डेथ. दीज आर ऑल एक्यूट कोरोनरी सिंड्रोम एंड coronary artery disease is beginning and it may lead to the acute coronary syndrome. This is a partial block and some problem like atherosclerosis, etc. That will cause some problem in the coronary blood flow. That is artery disease, and this is acute problem. Atherosclerosis, accumulation of lipid containing materials found in the intima of the arteries, begins at soft deposit of fat and hardens with age. That is called atherosclerosis. At the accumulation of lipid containing material in the intima of the arteries, and start होता है soft deposit starts from fats and afterward it hardens. It is a leading cause of death in US throughout the world. Also accounts for half of the nearly 1 million deaths from coronary artery disease. Atherosclerosis of the coronary arteries is a major cause of coronary artery disease. Although the atherothrombosis, intracoronary thrombosis also plays a part. Not only atherosclerosis, but intracoronary thrombosis, additional thrombosis हो गया. That is also part of this. The coronary artery disease is a progressive degenerative disease that begins in childhood and manifests itself in middle to late adulthood. It is an acute coronary syndrome or coronary artery disease, or it may manifest into acute coronary syndrome, remain untreated or unattended. In affluent societies, coronary artery disease causes severe disability, more death from any other disease, including cancer. More deaths from the coronary artery disease than even cancer, the major cause of death. The manifestation, coronary artery disease may manifest as a angina, that is the chest pain, for some time, then goes away. Then silent ischemia, then कोई pain नहीं, there is a deficiency of oxygen in the myocardium. Then unstable angina, then myocardial infarction or arrhythmia, heart failure, sudden death. These may be the ultimate sequelae, ultimate results of the coronary artery disease. Usually, in beginning it is silent, but it may lead to this. So we have to understand the difference between the coronary artery disease and MI, myocardial infarction. They are not synonymous. They are the fatty deposits under the intima of the artery. This is disease of the coronary artery. This is called coronary artery disease. And this is the sum of the death of the sum of the cells. This is total block. That is myocardial infarction. And this is a coronary disease is ischemic. It is a type of ischemic heart disease or simple heart disease. Involves the reduction of blood flow to the heart muscle due to the buildup of plaque and atherosclerosis in the arteries of the heart. It is the most common cardiovascular disease. The types include stable angina, unstable angina, myocardial infarction, and sudden cardiac death. The common symptom is chest pain. How patient will come to a doctor? That is the presentation. The most common presentation when coronary artery disease patient comes to doctor, either you feel a chest pain or discomfort in chest, which may sometimes it may this discomfort or pain may travel into shoulder, arm, back, neck or jaw. This is a typical one. Usually on the left shoulder, arm, back, jack, or occasionally it may feel like heartburn. Sometimes people say I have some problem in acidity in my stomach. So this is heartburn. Usually symptoms occur with exercise or emotional stress. If there is a coronary artery disease, when some exertion is going on, some extra work, extra heart has to work, at that time symptoms appear. That is either with exercise or the emotional stress. And it less than few minutes it's and once rest, patient rest, it disappears. Sometimes short of breath and may also occur, and sometimes symptoms, no symptom may be there. In many cases, first sign is direct heart attack. The coronary artery disease there, patient doesn't know, doctor doesn't know, and then direct there is a heart attack. You hear many news in newspapers. This is the long-standing coronary artery disease results in the acute coronary syndrome. There is heart attack. Other complications include the heart failure or there is a cardiac arrhythmia. This may be the result. This is the normal blood vessel, and this is partially blocked blood vessel. This is, if it is coronary artery, it is called coronary artery disease. Generally, coronary artery disease means partially blocked vessel. That we call as coronary artery. Even a heart attack is coronary artery disease, but is the result ultimate one. And but every heart attack is included in coronary disease, but every coronary artery disease is not a heart attack. So usually this is a partially blocked artery, and that is we call as coronary artery disease. Also, this may lead to myocardial infarction ultimately. If neglected or improperly treated, or even with treatment, it may progress to myocardial infarction. So myocardial infarction is a type of acute coronary artery disease. All MIs are coronary artery disease, but all coronary artery diseases are not myocardial infarction. So we have to understand the difference between two. So for the further discussions, the risk factors who are at risk of having coronary artery disease. They include patients of high blood pressure, those who are doing smoking, or patients of diabetes, lack of exercise, sedentary life, obesity and overweight, high blood cholesterol, diet which is poor in fibers and fruits and vegetables, less vegetables and fruits, that is poor. Mental depression. So this causes the whole cascade of reactions, cascade of events in the body which may cause the coronary artery disease. And excessive use of alcohol. A number of tests may help with diagnosis. What are the tests should be done? If you suspect coronary artery disease, the most important test is electrocardiogram. You should start with. And if you look that patient is fit, you can do the stressed ECG, cardiac stress testing, including stress ECG. Then coronary computed tomography angiography, the CT angiography, as we tell today. And ultimately the final answer is coronary angiography. That is a gold standard test, exactly visualizes how much artery, which artery is blocked. That is the gold standard test. Before that you should do this. If you can rule out there is no problem, may not go for the coronary angiography. So ways to reduce the coronary artery risk include what you should do: eating a healthy diet, regularly exercising, maintaining a healthy weight, not smoking. Medication for diabetes, proper medication and regular medication for diabetes and other rehabilitation of diabetes. High cholesterol or high blood pressure, that is to be treated or to be reduced if possible. And there is limited evidence for screening people who are at low risk and do not have symptoms. So this is the sometimes problem and there may not be any symptom at all. So that there you go to accidental finding patient comes for other and you do the ECG or you suspect if there is a patient with blood pressure, then you have to do ECG. Then you find out because then in time it is again a silent killer like hypertension and you do not know. Treatment involves prevention, that is the additional medications like aspirin and the beta blockers, nitroglycerin may be recommended or the procedure like angiography, angioplasty according to need they may be. So these are the fat deposit which is called plaque. It restricts the blood flow. We have seen in hemodynamics. So coronary arteries. This is coronary artery disease. Again, this one. This is normal artery. This is a artery narrowed by the atherosclerotic plaque. This is the atherosclerotic plaque. Beneath the intima, it is deposited, and this is the world burden, epidemiological burden. Coronary artery affected 110 million people in 2015, and the 11 crore people in the world, resulting in 8.9 million deaths. 80 lakh people died. Makes up 15.6% of all death, making it the most common cause of death globally. Risk of death from the coronary artery disease for the given age decreases between, that is the detailed statistic we don't need. This is the same clogged artery. What are the signs and symptoms? How patient will come to you? How the patient will present? There may be usually there may be silent, as I told you, but these may be the symptoms like dizziness, pale skin, sweating, cardiac arrhythmia, that is feeling of pulse, feeling of own heartbeat, nausea, difficulty breathing, and very importantly the chest pain, which may go to the shoulder, usually in the left shoulder and arms. It will radiate like this. Pain which radiates over here. That is the left shoulder and the left arm. There is the usual symptoms. So narrowing of the coronary arteries, it reduces the supply of oxygen, rich blood flowing to the heart, which becomes more pronounced during the activities, and when the heart becomes faster. Sometimes you experience the severe symptoms like chest pain, discomfort, and maybe after the eating meals, heavy meals, because it requires additional blood to the GIT, and that may cause the pain. There is phenomena, common symptom is chest pain and discomfort, which regular activity. After the regular activity, whenever you get exercise, you feel chest pain. That is called stable angina. And this is associated with the narrowing of the arteries of the heart. Angina also include the chest tightness, heaviness, pressure on chest, numbness, fullness, squeezing. Somebody is pressing my chest. It looks like that. So any problem in the chest associated with the some more activities or exercise, that is called angina. Angina that changes intensity, character or frequency is termed unstable angina. Fixed time, then you rest, it disappears. That is stable angina. But that is increasing in intensity. And अभी बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. That we call as unstable angina. That is unstable angina. Unstable angina may precede it may be a warning sign of myocardial infarction later on. So whenever there is an angina which you are feeling, if it is unstable, it is increasing by frequency or day by day in severity, then immediately we should investigate. It may precede the myocardial infarction. Adults who go to the emergency department with an unclear cause of pain, about 30% have pain due to coronary artery disease. Sometimes they feel pain, but they have neglected. Those who have heart attack, 30% of them, they have neglected the previous pain and not investigated. Angina, shortness of breath, sweating, nausea, vomiting, and light-heartedness are the sign of heart attack. It is severe pain. What is the pain of the heart attack? It is lying usually in the middle of the chest, not in right side or left side, in the behind the sternum, and the pain is like a compressing pain. Somebody is severely compressing your chest. It looks like that, and the pain which person has never experienced in life, such a severe pain. That's why people immediately heart attack का pain है any person a layman usually knows that मुझे heart attack का pain है क्योंकि that pain was never experienced before and it was a very typical compressing type of pain and very severe. Patient knows that there is something serious and this pain may go to the left shoulder or arm but lying in the usually in the middle of the chest and compressing type. And for the myocardial infarction and immediate emergency services are so coronary artery disease which is not heart attack. What are these symptoms? You may feel chest pain or exertion or anything, some chest pain, it goes away. Then nausea and vomiting, indigestion, fatigue and sleep problem. These are there may be initial symptoms of the coronary artery disease. In women, there are some difference may be there. All above may be there. But women, they suffer more from the shortness of breath. Other symptoms reported are they are feeling more extremely fatigued and sleep disturbance, indigestion and additional anxiety than usual one which man is feeling. However, the women experience irregular heartbeat, dizziness, sweating, and nausea. So common symptoms are there, but some are more occurring in the shortness of breath than fatigue and sleep disturbance, etc. More common in women. Factors differently. This is more common in men. This is common in both. This is more common in both overweight and smoking. These are the risk factors most common in males. Overweight, obesity, and smoking. These are both common in male and female. That is the diabetes and metabolic syndrome. And more common in the women. These are high blood pressure, high cholesterol and triglycerides, history of stroke, then peripheral artery disease, inactive lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, mental depression, and family of the heart disease. This is more common in women. So these things, certain things are genetically more common. Genetic history is more common in females. Male typical symptoms are oppressive chest pain, radiate to the arm, jaw and back, epigastric pain, shortness of breath. Female typical symptoms are stinging chest pain, abdominal pain, shortness of breath, and weakness. They are generally given. They are not fixed things. Myocardial ischemia, that is the obstructive coronary disease, plaque, non-obstructive coronary disease, plaque erosion, dissection, thrombosis that can occur. Burning pain, pressure in the chest and the upper abdomen can travel to arm to jaw. Experience in that is some difference, but not much difference. Cannot say. Now these are the risk factors. These are the established risk factors for the coronary artery disease by the Framingham Heart Study. That is the important study. This is the factors which you can modify. This is hyperlipidemia. You can reduce the hyperlipidemia which is there in blood. You can quit the smoking. Diabetes you can treat perfect control. You can control the hypertension. Physical inactivity, you can start activity. Overweight or obesity, you can reduce it. And diet in the high in carbohydrates and fat, which is responsible. You can reduce this high carbohydrate, high fat diet and take the high fiber diet and protein diet. So these are the you factors under your control. The factors which are you cannot modify is the age, sex, familial personal history, the coronary artery disease. These are all studied and well determined factors. This is blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, lack of exercise, obesity, high cholesterol, uh, then diet which is poor in fibers and proteins, mental depression, family history, excessive alcohol consumption, that all we have seen. Smoking and obesity are associated with about 36%. Smoking about 36% and obesity about 20% of cases respectively. These are very significant factors, smoking and obesity. Smoking just one cigarette per day about doubles the risk of coronary artery disease. And lack of exercise is linked to 7 to 12% of cases. Exposure to the herbicide agent, the disease or rheumatoid disease, autoimmune diseases also can increase the risk factor. Job stress, mental stress, about 3% of cases. Uh, so this is the another link to premature family history, smoking, hypertension, dyslipidemia, elevated low density LDL, and low levels of HDL, elevated triglycerides, they are very common, elevated lipoprotein, elevated apolipoprotein B, and high number of small dense particles. In metabolic syndrome, diabetes, obesity, physical inactivity, and psychological risk factors. Blood fat, especially serum LDL concentration. If it is high, it is a great risk factor. HDL high is protective. If the high density lipoprotein or low density lipoprotein, high density lipoprotein is a protective effect on development of coronary artery disease. High blood uh, triglyceride is also a negative effect in high level of lipoprotein A and compound which is formed from LDL cholesterol well, is apoprotein A, that is a risk factor. Dietary cholesterol does not appear to have much great significance as apart from the what we believe actually. And the but saturated fat, if you take more, that is the problem. Genetic heritage is there in the cousins or in parents or grandparents is a problem. So endometriosis in women under the age of 40, 40 साल से पहले before the age of 40 endometriosis कोई है, that is a traditional genetic factor, a high factor. So these are traditional risk factors: suboptimal diet, tobacco smoking, high BMI, that is obesity, high blood pressure 140 by 90, high fasting plasma glucose level, physical inactivity, age, male more than 45, female more than 55, family history of premature coronary artery disease. There is a earlier age coronary artery disease बहुत early हो गया. There is a strong risk factor. And the HDL cholesterol which is less than 40. Newer risk factors which are identified are the plasma concentration of C-reactive protein, IL-6 and membrane-bound IL-6 receptors, increased level of leukocyte enzyme, myeloperoxidase, HIV positive status, mediation of chest wall radiation, metabolic syndrome, microalbuminuria, and remnant lipoproteins. This is the depression we have already seen this. This is a psychological, physical abuse, or the violence against the household violence, violence against women, and then the disease including the high level of fibrinogen in coagulation factor 7 in blood, in plasma. The high level of fibrinogen factor 7 is a risk factor for coronary artery disease. So these were the epidemiology. The death by coronary artery disease 7.7 million. This is the high income countries. The cancer deaths are double the cardiovascular disease death. High income countries. In middle income company, the cardiovascular disease, this red one, that increases. In low income countries, it greatly increases. Then these are all other diseases. The blue are the cancer deaths. This is because the average life is much more in the high income countries. Average life is more, so the cancerous condition increases. Pathophysiology, how it occurs, how the coronary artery disease develop. Then this is the plaque. Plaque with a varying amount of necrotic core and inflammatory cells are there. This is a plaque inside the coronary artery, and then it causes the plaque disruption, erosion, followed by platelet aggregate or platelets. More platelets aggregate here because of the platelet disruption. The intima is the below tissue is exposed. When intima is, there is a hole in intima or the disruption intima that leads to more platelet aggression and more thrombosis, and it becomes increasing, and that may lead to complete occlusion. This is new clot formation. You can see there is a complete occlusion, that is called, this is the complete occlusion may lead to myocardial infarction. This is the normal artery, this is narrowing of the artery. The limitation of blood for the heart causes ischemia. There's cell starvation secondary to lack of oxygen of the heart muscle cells. The heart muscle cell may die from the lack of oxygen, and this is called myocardial infarction when it dies. And it leads to damage. It leads to damage, death, and eventual scarring of the heart. When some of the cells die, it may lead to the scar formation, fibrous tissue. And without the regrowth of heart muscle cells, cardiac muscle cells don't reproduce. So chronic high-grade narrowing of the coronary arteries can cause the transient ischemia, which leads to the induction of ventricular arrhythmia, which terminates with dangerous heart non-ventricular fibrillation, and it may lead to death also. So the cardiac arrhythmia when developed because some of the cells of the conductive tissues, they have dead because of the infection. So this is normal artery. This starts with the endothelial dysfunction, leukocyte activation, cholesterol deposit. Here, a small plaque is formed, and that is leads to again leukocyte. Again, there is a cholesterol deposit. Again, the another, it increases in size the plaque, and that plaque, because of the disruption of the plaque, damage to the endothelial damage. Then, because this is exposed, so there will be, that will lead to the platelet activation. Platelet will deposit here, and then the clot will be formed. Big clot is formed, so it may lead to complications because it is almost the lumen is almost the lumen 90% lumen is blocked. So the coronary artery disease occurs when the part of smooth elastic lining inside the coronary artery is supplied to the develops atherosclerosis. Here, the disease has started. The arteries that supply blood with the atherosclerosis, the arteries lining becomes hardened, stiffened, and accumulate deposit of calcium and fatty acids. Calcium fatty acids they deposit here, and this is atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis, the abnormal inflammatory cells to form the plaque. So This is the calcium, lipids, and then abnormal cells, the leukocytes. They all gather. This is called plaque. So the deposit of calcium, fatty acids, and inflammatory cells that forms a plaque. So calcium phosphate, the hydroxyapatite deposits in the muscular layer of the blood vessel appear to play a significant role in stiffening the arteries and inducing the early phase of coronary arteriosclerosis. So this is the calcium phosphate hydroxyapatite that is deposit here, calcium, and that becomes the artery very stiff. This can be so-called metastatic mechanism of calciphylaxis as it occurs chronic kidney disease. And although these people suffer from plaque, can be thought of a large pimples that protrude into the channel of artery. You can see this is the large pimples that the protrude in the lumen of the artery. That is called plaque. What is the partial obstruction to the blood flow? People with coronary artery disease might have just one or two plaques, might have dozens of distributed throughout the coronary arteries. More severe form is a chronic total occlusion (CTO), and coronary artery is completely obstructed for more than 3 months. It is called CTO, chronic total occlusion. Slowly the total occlusion occurs, sometimes without myocardial infarction, because it is a chronic occlusion. The sideways anastomosis develop, and the same tissue is supplied by other arteries. This is the detail how the pathogenesis occurs. The atherosclerotic lesion is there, then macrophage form cells, then these are lipids, HDL or LDL. These are all there. The deposit. These are the. So cardiac syndrome X is chest pain, angina pectoris, and chest discomfort in people who do not show sign of blockage in the. If it is there is no blockage, and still there is symptom. It is called cardiac syndrome X. Now this is the pathophysiology. Coronary artery cannot supply enough blood to the heart response to the demand due to coronary artery disease. 10 seconds, myocardial cell ischemia. Then ischemic cell cannot get enough oxygen or glucose. Ischemic myocardial cell may have decreased electrical muscular function. And that is called the cells convert to anaerobic metabolism. So their cell produce lactic acid, is waste products, and that lactic acid is responsible for the pain, chest pain. This is the how the in coronary artery disease, angina, pain occurs because the lack of oxygen, anaerobic oxidation, that produces the lactic acid. The how to diagnose coronary artery disease? How to diagnose? Most important always is the history taking. The success of a doctor depends on the art of history taking, patience, hearing. If a doctor loses the temper, people say they doubt whether he is really a doctor because they always expect a doctor to be very calm, who listens everybody. So you have to develop. Doctor is not just not the knowledge; it is the development, self-discipline, honesty, and patience. Patience hearing, and this is the key to success of any doctor. And people will have automatic respect to you. Doctor doesn't have any power, authority. You cannot ask for the forcible respect. You will command natural respect because of this. So the most important in this is the history taking. The patient comes to how deal with the patient. This is the majority more than 80% of diagnosis can be done by just by history taking. That is, I have personal experience. And then you do the physical examination. If there is no dire emergency, chest pain, if there is a severe chest pain, patient is having great problem, then you don't waste time much here. Just take short history, take the ECG and the start the treatment. But if you have time, there is no emergency, then a thorough physical examination, especially of cardiovascular system, in other symptom than others, then do the blood test of cardiac enzymes, take the blood, but the most important is the ECG. Take the ECG, read the ECG. This is the first thing which you will immediately come to know. The result of blood which is taken to cardiac enzymes, it will take time to come report. But ECG, you will immediately get the report. You will get the strip of ECG. You can read and you can decide course of treatment. And if there is a need, and patient is not very serious, patient you can do the echocardiography, the other things. For symptomatic pressure, ECG is first thing. And if the patient is patient is fit, if there is no other acute problem, this is treadmill test as you say, it is called stress ECG. Stress ECG, it is shown here, I think it is this is baseline ECG, then exercise ECG, it is called stress ECG. This is very important. In case you suspect there is coronary artery disease, but there is a baseline ECG does not show any abnormality, and patient is fit, then you do the treadmill test. Otherwise, the echocardiography, stress cardiac imaging, and the exercise radioisotope test. And the gold standard is the coronary angiography. We see later on in angioplasty, we will see this. So coronary angiography is the gold standard. Finally, to diagnose which arteries are blocked, how much they are blocked, and what you should do. That is when it is necessary. In every patient, you cannot do coronary angiography. So if you are able to find out patient is fit, history taking examination, there is no major problem or urgent problem, they can treat directly, no need to go for angiography. You can go up to the echocardiography, the non-invasive. Then these are the other method. CT angiography is also nowadays without the going through the angiography procedures, you can do CT angiography. You will have 90% idea of the block in the arteries. The almost always the first investigation is the ECG. As I told you, it is the eye of the physician. Of course, when you before the ECG, you should examine, do the auscultation, see the heart sounds and everything. So history taking and examination, including the auscultation. That is the first thing should be done. And investigation, if you do, there is the first investigation ECG, and that will give you clear most of the things. You look inside the heart without opening the heart, and that is the if you have whether it is a stable angina or it is a coronary artery, acute coronary syndrome, or myocardial infarction, that you can find out from the ECG. And then if there is you think that there is a acute problem, there may be heart attack, then the treatment is accordingly and urgently whatever is required. But if it is stable angina, the course of treatment is separate. In X-ray chest, the stable angina, when there is a myocardial infection or emergency, in stable angina, chest pain with typical features, looking at predicted levels of exertion, various form of cardiac stress test may be used. This is the I told you stress ECG or treadmill test. As you say, you do the echocardiography, and also it can be done. There is scintigraphy. There is uptake of radionucleotide in the heart muscle. The stable coronary artery disease, SCAD, is often called as a stable ischemic heart disease. And regardless of the nomenclature, stable angina is the chief manifestation of the coronary artery disease. This is so stable angina. Usually, most of the people who have coronary artery disease, majority of them will have stable angina. Sometimes pain then goes away. Attack has not occurred, and ultimately it may go to the acute coronary syndrome, and that you can ECG. You can see just you have seen that there may be also sometimes then patient comes to hospital, there may be evolving changes in ECG. that is indicating ongoing muscle damage. So urgently you should do the treatment. The some ST elevation is there and it is increasing by subsequent ECGs you take. And that is called STEMI because it is called ST elevation myocardial infarction. I told you ST elevation actually it is depression of TP segment, but clinicians are habituated for ST. So let us see ST elevation myocardial infection, that is STEMI. There is developing myocardial infection, then ST elevation is there, though complete occlusion is going on. In the absence of ST elevation, heart damage is detected by there is no ST depression elevation. Then you do the blood test, the cardio markers, but identify the muscle damage, and that is the attributed to non-ST elevation. That is called NSTEMI, non-ST elevation myocardial infarction. And if there is no evidence of any damage, the term is unstable angina, and the process will usually necessitate hospital admission and close observation because that may lead to, at present there is no myocardial infarction, there is no urgency, but it may lead to after some time complication like cardiac arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat, which is very serious thing, and then it needs attention immediately. And the depending on the risk, you may do for the go for the angio, coronary angiography. That is a gold standard test will exactly assess the risk. And before the angiography, this is risk assessment method. Determine the risk of coronary artery disease. Coronary artery disease, whether it is likely to go for infection or not. And that is by a that is called Framingham score. And in Framingham heart study, it is mainly based on age, gender, diabetes or there, blood pressure is there or not, the total cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, tobacco smoking, system. These are all factors. If they are there, then score comes higher. So when it comes to predicted risk in younger adults, the Framingham score remains below 10 to 12. The risk is low, so we did not go for angiography, etc. So polygenic score, another way, the prevention, how to prevent the coronary artery disease. The same thing, you know it. The exercise regularly, maintain a healthy weight, eating a balanced diet that is low in sodium, high in fruits and vegetables, avoid smoking, drinking, not too much alcohol, drinking less alcohol if you are drinking. Don't drink, it is best thing. Up to 90% of cardiac disease may be preventable for progress other. If established risk factors are avoided, 90% of them can be not totally cardiovascular disease, but you can prevent the progress. And that is adequate exercise, decreasing obesity, treating high blood pressure, healthy diet, low cholesterol level, stopping smoking. Medications and exercise is equally effective. High level of physical activity reduce the risk of coronary artery disease by the 25%, very great factor. If you do the physical activity, coronary risk factor decreases by 25%. The biggest thing which you do is to do the regular physical activity. Most guidelines recommend combining these preventive strategies. You have to combine it. And counseling and education of the patient by the physician. The treating physician counseling, that is the best counselor. How to prevent coronary artery disease? So this is a limit food intake saturated in fatty acid, cholesterol and salt, and keep your body moving. That is main thing. Two main things are there. Diabetes, treat the diabetes, hypertension, whatever is there, and the kidney failures, blindness, that also is prevented in diabetes through proper treatment. So long-term management of the coronary artery disease, lifestyle and risk factor management, the psychosocial health should be cheerful, not depressed. Then medical risk factor, if necessary, do the treatment, take drugs if necessary, and cardioprotective therapies. These are the four things. This is the key components. There's to medication. Whatever medication is given, take it regularly. stop smoking, physical activity promotion, you do the physical activity, you reduce the body weight, take the healthy diet, and psychosocial management. These are the key components. And the another somebody, many people advocate the regular taking aspirin for the primary prevention, which I don't think it is necessary because it also increases the chances of fail to coagulate blood, or if there is any problem, it is also a risk in some cases. But it's a primary prevention, but it's an important drug, but not as a primary prevention. If there is a established coronary artery disease there, you have to give the aspirin first. So diet, which is high in fruit and vegetables, decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease and death. Vegetarians have a lower risk of heart disease. This is possibly due to the greater consumption of fruits and vegetables. And so also suggests this is the proved thing. Some oils, rice bran or this does not have much basis. Vitamin K2 is helping, not K1, in the decreasing the mortality. Secondary prevention. In secondary prevention, the first do the primary prevention, which we have discussed. And in the secondary prevention also, this is the you have to do it. Primary prevention, that means does not occur heart at very minimal level और coronary arteries को आने ही नहीं देना है, coronary arteries disease को आने ही नहीं देना है. That is primary prevention. So if you have hypertension, control it. Diabetes, control it. Do regular exercise. And this is the insufficient evidence is there, but they do the psychological help, etc. होगा coronary artery disease होगा ही नहीं आपको, at least at the minimum speed. Totally you cannot prevent. Already हो गया है coronary artery disease. This is called secondary prevention. Control the hypertension, control it. It will not progress it. And beta blockers, aspirin, that is important in when you control the hypertension. These are drugs are that is helpful in the preventing coronary artery disease. So this should be as far as possible should control hypertension, but blood pressure should not go down than normal. That is important requirement. Then ACE inhibitors, aspirin, beta blockers. Then cholesterol lowering drugs. If required, you have done it procedures. This is called tertiary procedure, invasive. This is the angiography, angioplasty, all the things. This does not come in secondary, tertiary. Stop smoking, accelerate rehabilitation. Preventing further sequelae already occur. Then you have to do this. Already coronary artery disease has started, but you don't want it to progress. Control the weight, avoid the smoking, and avoid the consumption of the high fats, decrease the psychological stress, do regular exercise, aerobic exercise like walking, swimming, then the jogging can reduce the risk of mortality, and aerobic exercise can help and decrease the blood pressure and amount of cholesterol. HDL cholesterol considered crude, that is also increased. This tertiary prevention is at all the coronary artery disease to progress very weak. The intervention due to angiography and then angioplasty. Stent, put the stent, and if required too much 3-vessel block, the complete block, in that case you do the bypass surgery. If there is a cardiac arrhythmia, do the pacemaker. If there is a fibrillation, do apply the defibrillators, permanent pacemaker maybe, and the left ventricular assisting device. If there is a left ventricle is too much weak has become, then is left ventricular assisting the LVAD. These are the coronary ventricular disease tertiary prevention. You do the aggressive treatment and thereby you prevent it. So it do not occur coronary artery disease at all. This is primary prevention. हो गया है again नहीं बटे secondary prevention. And if there is a too much, it has progressed, then do the aggressive treatment and control the coronary artery disease. So this is the treatment of the, what is the treatment of the coronary artery disease? Lifestyle changes, as we have seen, this is a primary thing in everything, in every treatment. Medical treatment including the drugs which cholesterol, decrease the LDL cholesterol, and the beta blockers, nitroglycerin, calcium channel blockers. If it is required, is indicated in particular case. Coronary intervention like coronary angiography and stent and coronary bypass surgery. Then the strategy of secondary prevention, aspirin, the important drug, and then the beta blocker, calcium channel blockers, and the hormone replacement therapy if it is indicated. Statin, which is the important cholesterol reducing agent, and in a proper case, the physician will prescribe this in a secondary prevention. And nitroglycerin, calcium channel blockers, etc. We have seen anti-platelet drugs, aspirin is important. In those with no previous history of heart disease, aspirin decreases the risk of myocardial infarction, but does not change overall risk of death. So that's why I don't advocate aspirin as a primary prevention. Only then a pele say aspirin low. Don't do it. And as a physiologist, I am advising, not a cardiologist. Cardiologist may advise, but we have to keep the physiology in mind. And there is a, if it is a, for secondary prevention, yes, first drug is aspirin. Already coronary artery disease हो गया है, further progress prevent करना है, you do it. Antiplatelet agents and the it is also then the as I told you treatment of choice if angiography करके how the angioplasty is carried out. This is the scrubbing of the cardiologist has scrubbed in the cath lab. This is a stent and the initially goes like either from femoral artery but nowadays from radial artery. Yeah, a drill is introduced, then it replaces and the catheter is introduced inside, and this is the wire, guiding wire, and which the in the tip of this the stent is there. I'll just see the let us see the keep it this is so this is a angiography and angioplasty being carried out. You can see this here. My son, Dr. Dhruv, is a cardiologist, so this is the record of this. Because outside video recording was copyright issues, so this is my son performing the angiography. You can see the course of the vessel, how much is block is there. Then also successfully carried out a angioplasty. So this is the dye injected, and it shows the coronary arteries. We are not so expert, so the cardiologist immediately find out where is the block. I think there is a here, but the thin artery which is showing very thin. This is the site of block maybe identified. This is the right coronary artery. This is left coronary artery over here. This is right coronary artery. This is the circumflex. This is entry descending. That much we can identify, but where is the real block? Usually the LAD is very notorious block, black. the thin artery, if you can visualize, this is the site of block, and then exactly locating the block, the cardiologist will introduce a stent on the tip of this wire, and it will balloon angioplasty. It will clear all the plaques in the thin metal mesh. You can say mesh is introduced and kept there permanently, so the blood can flow, but the artery will remain patent. That is the way. This is the way the angioplasty is performed. This is the wire and the balloon. This is catheter, and this is balloon over the catheter. Now it is not inflated properly. Now it is inflated. You can see the stent has been inflated now. So it is clear. First it is this is being cleared. This is all plaques are removed. Now this is stent expanded. This is stent and this is expanded. Here it is inflated. Balloon is just inflated. This is balloon. This is stent. So this is catheter. In between there is a non-inflated balloon, and this is stent, and this is plaque. So this is the balloon now inflated. The air inside, and then balloon is inflated. So the stent gets also expanded like this. Plaque is compressed. Plaque is compressed, and by repeated ballooning, and plaque is highly compressed, and this is stent is expanded. Now the balloon is and catheter is removed. So that will cause this will remain patent now. The artery which was occluded, it will remain patent. So you see, sometimes it causes miracle in curing the coronary artery. Not complete cure, but coronary artery uh, relieving and great relief in the problems for in the. These are the this is the slowly occluding lumen. Now this is the a catheter, balloon, and stent. Three things are introduced inside. There's a lot of uh, occlusion over there, 18-90%. Now the balloon is inflated, so these plaques are totally compressed, and so the stent is very powerful and rigid. So to remove the balloon and catheter, this will remain in place. The balloon angioplasty, narrowed artery, closed stent around the balloon. So the plaque. Previously there was no stent. You have seen the in operation theatre, Dr. Samuel Matthews, who is pioneer of the angioplasty in India, in Hinduja Hospital almost before 20 years. There was no stent, but he was doing the very good balloon of removal of plaques by balloon or compression of by balloon, and then the artery remained open even without stent for a long period of time. Still, patient is a doctor to whom I accompanied is still very healthy after 20 years of just plaques treatment by balloon. So this is called balloon angioplasty, and then nowadays there is more inventions, and the balloon angioplasty plus the stent has come. So that is widened artery, right? This is widened artery, and this is compressed. Plaque is compressed because total removal of plaque is also not desirable, because this plaque, if you remove it, go in bloodstream and may form emboli. So we don't want it. These are totally compressed plaques, and this is arteries had been made wide by this. It will remain wide because of this typical stent, which is manufactured in that high tech way. And then lastly, if there are too many arteries, triple vessel block, a lot of plaque, sometimes 100% block is there. So in some of the cases, even 100% can be open, but not all cases. And where the angioplasty is not going to be very successful. The first choice is always angioplasty, but if it is not, the cardiologist feel it may not succeed. That the surgery is advocated, that the is called as bypass coronary bypass surgery. And the this is the usually nowadays mammalian artery is taken, and mammalian arterial graft is bypass graft. Okay. This is the coronary artery bypass graft is implanted by the surgeons, where there is this whatever is a block vessel, the block vessel, this is bypassed. Another graft from ear to ear, another graft is parallel graft is attached. This is usually mammalian artery nowadays. Previously vein was grafted. Nowadays artery, usually mammalian artery. That is the these are extra arteries in mammary glands. So this is taken from these two. Here it will bypass the plaque from here. There is a graft, then another end over here. So that will bypass this total occlusion of the artery, and it is called coronary bypass surgery. It is also not successful, but most important is even doing angioplasty and bypass surgery, there should not be another occlusions. So the aggressive preventive measures are must. Without that, it cannot succeed. This is the things which we have seen. Million deaths, cardiovascular. Already we have seen this, and research is going on in the stem cell therapies. Not very uh, easily successful nowadays, but it is goes on. Unnecessary people are claiming more. It's not easy. It is experiments, but heart transplant is going on, even in India, and not in such cases, but in cases of cardiomyopathy, other diseases, don't have any remedy, and there is no artery occlusion. In that case, cardiac transplant is the only remaining option. So I think you have enjoyed this coronary artery disease. So thank you very much, all of you. Hey, Bharatvash.